Good afternoon and good evening. Thank you so much for dropping by, and perhaps even good morning if you're joining me from that part of the world. Christina, that is good news to see you back. Bad news, of course, that you're on an LTE connection, on a metered LTE connection. That is uncool. If you want to save some data while watching the stream, there's a couple of options that you can do that with. And I'll just come right out with it and say it before we do anything else. There's this little cog icon at the bottom of the player, and that has some, currently, it's not always the case, but most of the time Twitch has these options under quality that you can drop that down. So even though I'm going out in 1080p, if you drop that down to something like 480, 360, or even 160, that'll be a lot less data. And if all else fails, you can always switch on audio only, and then you can listen in on what's happening and just follow the chat that way if it's if it's really hard. AT&T, speaking of bandwidth, AT&T were very kind. They've just sent us a message, both of us, Julia and me, and said they've added 10 gigabytes of data per month to our plan, which usually I think includes 5 or 6 gigabytes. We don't have a flat rate LTE plan. So they've added, on top of that, they've added a free of charge 10 gigabytes, which is very nice, I guess, for these very reasons that should the internet go down in this time of crisis, they want us to have it for at least 2 months, and then we'll see what happens after that. Crazy stuff. DAZ were also very generous. Just in, if you haven't received the email yet, DAZ have just sent an email that everyone will now get a Platinum Club access. And I thought, oh, that's really nice. For how long? Until the end of March. So it's like, what, 4 days left? But yeah, they're trying, so they're trying. I thought this kind of interesting how generosity looks compared between companies. So they could have just made it free for a couple of months, I guess, and just let people have it. But end of March, I mean, what's the point of that? End of March 2021, we can talk, but 5 days, I mean, it's one of those things. They're trying. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. One of those things. Oh, see, this is another form of generosity. Disney Plus 6 months for free. Now that's something. That's generous. That's generosity, isn't it? Very good to see you all, I must say. Dreamlab and I have been meeting this morning already. I've been trying to do the Stardew Valley stream on Mixer and on YouTube. And of course, that didn't work. It's such a shame. I did a couple of incognito tests and they worked okay. But we tried it this morning because I wanted to really include the larger YouTube audience during these COVID-19 times, so that we at least have a place to congregate every once in a while and just reach out and be there really for people. But it was not to be. So we're doing Stardew Valley and literally all forthcoming streams on Twitch. It's just not working. We tried 2 variations via Restream, and we also tried it via Mixer directly, but that didn't work. Quality was wonky and it just wasn't really working out. I did try streaming to YouTube directly, didn't work at all still, so I don't know what it is. I can't stream directly to YouTube. It's crazy stuff. But hey, that's just one of those minor inconveniences, I guess. We're good on Twitch, and that's all that counts. I'm glad that there's one platform that works well, and that's where we'll be. I was thinking today, if I show you the animation that I've re-rendered yesterday, whoops, the animation that I've shown you, that I've re-rendered yesterday, you will see that the FBI agent is back, but after the FBI agent, there's the mouse that walks into the frame. And it's really nice because I've re-rendered it again in 60 frames a second. And I think it looks really, really nice. And I would like to have several characters dancing in there. So I think I'm going to go and continue with the mouse. Here he comes. Very nice. Woo, very cool. With the look that he gives into the camera. That's just so nice. And we're going to continue with that because we've got that second mouse animation. So there's these 2 things I want to do. One is with the mouse, and the other one is with some of the Synty characters. And see if we can make them drop in there. I have found the original files from the FBI agent, so they're all condensed in one Premiere project now, and I can go and fiddle some more. Oh, and very nice actually, the developer of the Discolored game left me a message on Steam, in the Steam chat, and he said, yeah, sorry about the issues you've had with the Apple Arcade version. Many of our players had that problem, and we'll see if we can fix that. So maybe the Apple Arcade version of Discolored will be fixed at one point. That'd be kind of nice. Okay, that's not so bad. That's not so bad, Christina. That's, you know, that's something. Yeah, that's nice that at least that they're paying something. That is, you know, that's good. Let me go and bring up that scene that we made yesterday here. I think there's these two versions here, the 60 frame and the 30 frame version. I think it doesn't matter. I'll bring in the 60 frame version. That's the one that I had rendered. Oh yeah, with the second camera actually, so I can render out a thumbnail here. This was that, and that was that. And this is how we did that. So just to recap what we did here, we had the mixer mode animation applied to the character. And much like in Blender, I added that to a null, and the null is then animated forwards. So that's exactly what we're going to do in the next animation that I've saved yesterday already. I think we've converted that aniblock. So most of the setup should still work. I might even use the whole lighting of the scene and just go get rid of the toon mouse here and just see what we need to do about the timing. Actually, can I do that? Yeah, I think I can do that because we don't do anything else. There, that and that. And the camera 2, that's just for a thumbnail. We don't really need that anymore. So I'll start with that. And the plane, I'll leave the plane here just as a guide for me to see where the ground is. I killed Elvis. How you doing? Good to see you, my friend. How's the isolation keeping you? Are you okay? I hope you are. Okay, I'll go and get rid of this, and I'll bring in a regular copy of the mouse and figures. I like that he's in fact the first item in my library. Maybe that's why I like him so much. There we go. We always have to do something with the tail and the feet and all that. We're going to correct that as soon as we've got that anti-block on there. So let's see. Oh yes, there's two things I'd like to do with the mouse. So one is the walk. That's literally just like the walk that we've seen, but it's a kind of a zombie walk. And the other one is some of the old thriller blocks. Like I think this one here, that'll work kind of well. Oh no, actually he's got that hand thing. The hand is kind of going through his eyes there, so I might not actually use that. And this one didn't work at all. But that's something that should really be deleted. Interesting thing here. Idle is that's the eye, the mouse blink, the eye blink. We're going to keep that. Maybe I won't use the thriller thing then, because this might be the one that I was talking about. Yes, we can probably use this one or part of it. Which one was that one? That was not this one. That was the second one. Yeah, the second one. So that might be nice if he just kind of comes towards the camera and then does this, and then walks out again. That might be funny. But that was not the one that we did yesterday. I think that was just in the regular thing. No, that wasn't it either. Was that in mouse walking? There we go. Chilled walk. That's the one we've done, and then zombie walk's the one that we're going to do now. And they're in place, so I'll go and put him here, and then we're going to do the forward motion again with the null, and we'll see him from the side again. So it'll be something like that. I might move him around once he's in the null. And then just like yesterday, we'll try and do something with the eye target so that he maybe follows us, looking at us. That might be funny. Yes, we're good here too. Julia and I, we're doing well. We're under safe at home order. I think that's what they're calling it here. We have a confirmed 88 cases in the city of Miami Beach now, and that's kind of, you know, scary a lot, considering that we're a small island type community here. It's not quite Miami. It's a little strip on the right hand side of Miami that's bordering the ocean. That's Miami Beach. It goes up all the way until it borders on the town of Surfside, which is about 70 blocks up, the 70th something street, and all the way down here. And then it takes some of the population on the bridges that connect Miami with Miami Beach. And yes, 88 confirmed cases. Supermarkets have now also installed, much like in Germany a few weeks ago, these Perspex sheets in front of people. And most importantly, the mayor has launched an executive order that needs to keep people at the checkout in anything you do 6 feet apart. And that's going to be probably a problem in the supermarkets, I can imagine. I've not been there yet. I'm going back on Sunday to see what it's going to be like. But he says they're very strict at enforcing it. So there's something about if you have a food truck and you go up to a construction site, like these food trucks, they're like 20 food trucks down here. And there's kind of Spanish sort of cuisine that's on there, or kind of Cuban cuisine. And you just grab a bite, and then, you know, construction workers can do that without having to leave for lunch and all that. And they said they have to obey that as well, or they're going to be shut down. And that's just going to be difficult. But hey, it's mayor's order, so they have to do it. I'll go and I'll loop this animation here like a few times, probably maybe 5 times. It looks like it could be a longish type animation. And just like yesterday, we're going to add, oh, is he reorienting himself? Oh, that's interesting. Yes, he's kind of turning around, isn't he? So we need to fix that. We do that with the reorient loops function. There's these 2 things here, reorient start and reorient loops. So I want to switch this off, and that'll mean that this doesn't happen. So for some reason I just want him to do this at the same spot, and I don't want him to turn around. I think what Animate is trying to do there is looks at his left foot, and as soon as that comes, it looks at what position is that in, and as a result keeps turning the character. It's really meant for a forward walk, in which you can then say the character needs to move forward depending on what body part is touching the floor. And I guess in this case he just got it a bit wrong, so fixed. Just like yesterday, I will add a second track to this, and I believe I just select the eye blink to that, which is this, and we're going to put that here. And that I'll also loop until about here, something like that. See what it looks like. Is he blinking? Yes. And he keeps blinking. Very nice. So that's good. And now let's put him into a null, and then we're going to fix the tail, which is currently static. So yesterday we just curled that up, and because of his bottom movement, it appears to be wobbling a little bit. So we'll do that as well. Rotate is really all that we need. Yeah, in fact, let's start there, shall we? I don't want any tough kinks here. There's about 10 pieces to the tail, so I probably should have just saved that as a pose yesterday. That might have been easier, but hey. It's also not that tough to just go and do that. It's just a little time consuming, but everything in animations is time consuming, so where do you draw the line? Wow, that was about 10 segments. Looks like it's much more than that. 15 so far, and we're not at the end just yet. 17 segments. Interesting. There. Cardiff, thank you so much for subscribing on YouTube. I appreciate that. How is your breathing going, Christina? How is that? Have you had, after you've been on the ventilator and on the blood oxygenation machine, how you do you still feel you suffer from anything like that, or is your breathing back to normal? I'm interested because I believe there were reports that some people were saying breathing might never reach the full potential of what it was like before, but I don't know much about it, so it'd be good to hear what it's like from your perspective. Hello, Chris. How you doing? I did miss your stream. I was playing Lego City Undercover. We're trying to find all the character bits and bobs there. So let's put him into a null. Create a new null. We can just call it null. That's fine. And we're going to put the mouse into here. There we go. And the null is then the thing that we can move. And also, let's see what that looks like through the camera. We might have to go and twist the whole null. Yes, looks like we need to twist it a little bit. Make sure we don't have any keyframes that are being smuggled in here. I'll make the mouse unselectable, same as with the spotlight. And the null is selectable. We just go move that, hello. I may use two viewports here. So this is going to be our camera viewport, and this can be our messing around viewport, in which we don't see the aspect ratio. And then I can just go and turn you this way. Yeah, so that might be a bit much. Perhaps I'm okay with turning you a little bit less like that. And it's as if he's sleepwalking or whatnot. We can even go and close the eyes more. Maybe that'll be nice. I think it will be acknowledged. Actually, that's a morph, isn't it? I think there's kind of an eye morph, probably in the head, I guess. Eyes blink, wince. There's probably something. No, it looks like there's no sleepy morph or something. No, not there. We'll leave it as it is. That's fine. I'm glad she likes the rat. That's good. That's good. Something rather marvelous has happened this morning. I think I got a pet in Stardew Valley. That was very cool. That was very, very cute. It's an extremely cute game. I really like it. So let's go move him out of vision here. The whiskers looks like we don't see them, so I can just go and start the whole thing here. And then we'll go and let's say, I don't know how long this animation is going to be yet. I'll just go and move him all the way out, and we'll see what the timing is like. So we need to have the tail move out of vision as well. So the tail needs to go out as well. And that's just the null that I've animated. And it's just like yesterday. Currently, it's got the Bezier curve on it, so it'll be a little bit slow to begin with. Then it speeds up, and then it goes slow again. So it's kind of what we don't want. We would like that to be linear. So we would like him to come into vision linear, because there's a bit of a gap there before the whole mouse appears. Then once he's there, he's kind of almost rushing through. And then now it slows down again. We see his back and his tail. So we would like for that thing to just, you know, go a little bit faster. So just like yesterday, with the nulls, keyframes selected here, I'll go and turn that to linear. And then it should look a bit different. We can still come in a bit later in the edit, but I think I'm just going to go and render this out just like that. That's kind of nice. So then the only thing I'd like to do now is make him look at the camera again, because I think that's hilarious when he does that. Yes, Brian, tell us, how do you do that? It has something to do with the channel points, with the happy points. They let you unlock certain things. You can flip an emote, and you can do all kinds of things. Brian knows a lot about that. I have never dared play with that. Yes, tell us how you do that, Brian. I'll go and save my scene here. And I'll save it as rat zombie. It's a little difficult for me to think in 60 frames a second in animations. I find it much easier to think in 30 frames, just keyframe wise. And I'll just have to make an effort to think in 60 frames now. So now comes kind of the interesting part. We want to turn these things. I think we're happy with the whole speed of it. I like for it to be that slow. That's cool. All I want to do now is have him turn his head when he's about kind of halfway into the picture. Maybe like here. That's a good idea. He's just after his eye blink, he can go and turn, blinks again and turns away again. And for that, I'll try to have a look at his head. It might be helped if I use local coordinates for that. And then I'll go, so at this point I don't want the head to, I would like the head to be the same as it was before. So I'll go and put a keyframe in here manually. I hope that's gonna work. I'll also, just for argument's sake, I'll put a keyframe in at the beginning. So he's here, then he goes and turns his head. And here, I guess, he starts turning his head again. Oh, this is once he's blinked. So this is where he turns his head again and is looking forward. So this is where he's looking forward. So I just want to make sure between there and there nothing changes. So now I can go and say this might be a little bit slower. So perhaps let's try 50 frames. It might be a bit too slow, but thankfully there's now a way to change that easier. So I guess that's the Y rotation. Do that, and we also want to have the other rotation here, namely that one, like so. And we would like, oh yeah, okay, so we have the same, we've got the same issue that we had yesterday there. Okay, so same issue as yesterday, fine. So let's just remember just about 400 is the first keyframe, and then like just after 600 is the next one. That's cool, that's cool. So what we did yesterday to remedy this is literally to go back into the animate timeline and go and turn this whole thing into studio keyframes. So we'll just have studio keyframes all the way. We're not dealing with the animate blocks anymore. Let's do it. Did we could, perfect, yes, let's do that. Thank you so much for hosting my stream, Steve. That's very nice. So cute. So Brian, with the channel points, is it also possible to unlock another emote? Because the other one that we made, the duck, that is one that, because I only have one emote slot for the $4.99 price tier, the duck is for the next price tier up. But I think there's a way that you can unlock it with channel points, if I understand it correctly. Is that something that's possible? Like unlock another random emote, or do I have to have more emote slots for that? I'm not quite sure how that works. Right, and maybe it's because the more subscribers you have, like the people who have like 60 or 100 subscribers, they get more emote slots. So then I only have one for the first price tier, then there's a second one for the second one, and there's a third one for the third one. And so the third price tier gets all emotes. But I think as the more subscribers you have on Twitch, the more of the first slot emotes you'll unlock. So then I can bring that in. And I suppose maybe then you can unlock one. I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit of a complicated system. I like it though. It's nice that there's just something going on that the system itself lets you play with, rather than having to bolt that on through a chatbot. So now we have tons of keyframes here. This is awesome. These things, they're still here, but they're not used anymore. So I'll go and put them in the bin, because otherwise I'll get seriously confused. And that of course means my total duration is now much less than it was before, which was, I think, about 1200 frames, was it? I think about 1200. And I think it was actually was more than that. I just don't remember how many exactly. Skip to preview. There we go. This is the last keyframe, was 1210. Let's make it 1210 then, or 1211 is the full duration, and then we have 0 to 1210. Okay, let's do that. So the one thing that we now need to do is that the head now has a keyframe on every frame. And I'd like for it to be more or less in the same position. So what we did yesterday is leave the first keyframe as it is and then delete everything in the middle. Now, because the timeline is so crowded, I'm not sure if I will be able to select the very first one right now. So I'll just go and select these, and then I'll zoom in and do my best here. So delete selected keys. And that's kind of enough to make it work. So keep in mind, this is our camera preview. This is just my fiddling around preview. So I think this will work, because now I can go back to this keyframe here. Wasn't there a way to easily zoom in? Yes, there was, wasn't there? There we go. Like that. Yeah, this will allow me to park that keyframe. So I'm going to go and set another keyframe here with the head selected. Perfect. And I'll set another one about here. Boom. And now I'll go back to the head turn. So the head turns from here to here. I said it's going to be 50 frames. I'll try it. So that'll be here. And that'll be one twist like that. And also a head twist like that. So he twists his head after I have twisted it, and that is also part of the that is this interpolated motion, so it doesn't do it in a straight line. It does it, from here to there. But it's fine. I'll go and make sure I put that keyframe, the same keyframe that I had here, about here. So I'll go and just copy that. I think it's just copy, and then I'll go and paste this here. Paste keys, boom, like that. That's unexpected, isn't it? DAZ? How do you, why would, can I have an explanation for this, please? Free Platinum Club until the end of March. Thank you so much. So that's not really, he's lost his head, the poor guy. I can imagine Rupertus thinking, usually this is what I do to the mice. This isn't what some software does to the mice. So maybe, I don't really know what happened there. It doesn't make that much sense to me. But let's go and delete these here. See if that brings him back. We can just go and set this manually, I guess. Doesn't have to be that accurate. It's just a shame that that's, that had to happen. I can probably just go and have a look at the actual properties if DAZ is too rubbish to remember the correct values. Should I have maybe just copied the twist and side keyframes? Maybe that's an idea. Maybe I'll do that. Copy those and then go and paste those. So maybe it was the top one that had an issue there. Paste keys. Yeah, look at that. That was it. Ah. No, it wasn't. Why? Explain. Why would that happen? That makes no sense at all. That's animations in DAZ Studio, kids. Don't try this at home. Which is why we're also doing some animations in Blender today. So everything manual then, no problem. Because it was just, what did I do? It was just twist and side to side. No, it's actually maybe both of them. So still here and also that way, and actually also, was it a little bit that way, wasn't it? Yeah, like that. So this rather extreme motion here, I'll see if we can correct it by just making that a linear motion again. See if that gets rid of it. No, not completely. So that means we'll need a corrective keyframe kind of in the middle, somewhere here where this is the worst, which is here. So it could also be that this has something to do with the whole body movement. So he does move his whole body. It might be that that's why that's exaggerated, but that's cool. We'll just go and do that. Hopefully that's enough to not freak out Roberta so much anymore at home. So I think the head back movement is a little bit too fast. I'll make that a bit slower, but also I'll see if I can turn this back from linear to TCB, which is their way of saying Bezier curve. See if that makes a difference. It makes a little bit of a difference. I'll go and say these keyframes, they just come forward a little bit, and that should mean he's turning his head a little bit slower back now. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty cool. It's a feature, Steve. That's exactly what that is. It's what makes us so super funky to play with DAZ Studio and discover new exciting things. The one thing I'm most excited about in DAZ Studio, and this is, I'm serious, this is it's no sarcasm alert now. So I'm really interested in seeing the Google Filament integration that's coming to the latest version of DAZ Studio, and hopefully in the next beta. I'm looking forward to that. It's a real-time, physically based rendering engine made by Google, open source. And with that, maybe we'll be able to have real light previews that are akin to what we're getting with iRay, just at a slightly lower quality, but in real time. I'm hoping. It kind of depends how they've integrated it, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's in the private build already. Sadly, I don't have access to the private build, so maybe it'll be cool. So we can do something else to make this movement. First of all, I think I'll save it. I think I'll go and save this. There's something else we can do with the animation to make it even cooler, and that is to fiddle with the eye target. So right now the eye target, just in case you're not familiar with how 3D Universe have set that up, the eye target is its own object. It's this red thing here, and it comes in handy because the kind of central point of it is by the eyes, and we can move it around. So we can go and literally turn the eye target and thereby make the eyes move. And this works better with the target because the eyes can then move kind of independently from one another. So sometimes there's a morph for that, but it's nicer to be able to do this and also do the up and down movement. And so we can make sure we can try and point the eye target at the camera at that one point. So we can try and do that. It's now got a keyframe here, so I'll go and see if I can delete that until we're ready to actually make one ourselves. There we go. And that'll just create a really nice eye movement. If you watch Disney movies, they have really good eye control. When the character, they don't have eyes that just look ahead, they have this small movement in there, like when a character looks from one person to another. It's a very subtle movement, but it's there, and it's really, really nice when they do that. We can try and do something similar here. So if you imagine the eye target, as soon as he's turning around, from here we can see if we wanted to position the eye target and just make it fixed towards the camera. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but I'd like to try. I don't know if I can animate that property, but if we can make that happen, that'd be really, really exciting. Possibly, Gorma, that is possible that it supports AMD CPUs. It depends on Google Filament, really. I think that might be good news for AMD users. I've not even actually thought about this. That is a really good idea. I thought my first idea was they're going to implement this just in the viewport. But then I thought it'd be really cool if they'd also implement it as a secondary or like a tertiary render engine, so that you would be able to literally select it here, so that we have iRay, 3D Light, and then we have OpenGL already. So perhaps there will be a fourth proper render engine up here that we could then render stuff with that. I hadn't even thought about the AMD crowd. That's a very, very good point. Let me put a link in the chat about the project. It's on GitHub, and I've not really read a lot about it, or nor have I seen any demos. So supports all GPUs. Oh, there we go. That's that answer there. Maybe that's partly why they're doing it, because they've known full well that iRay might be really cool, but we're alienating kind of 80% of the audience out there. Or maybe not 80, but there's Mac users who don't have access to AMD cards anymore, and there's many people who don't have the latest NVIDIA cards. And AMD is a big manufacturer, so yeah. So I'll just put a link in the description for the GitHub repo And that has a link to the proper project page and the documentation, and hopefully some example images which I haven't seen yet. So if you find any, do let me know. I don't know if that's possible, Brian. Neither the donuts thing nor the I don't know what happened with the head vanishing there. So if I go and select the eye target, there's under MISC here, there's the point at, and I don't know if I can point that at something from a keyframe. So let's find out. If I just go and try to point it from here, so that's slightly before this happens. I'll see if I can point it at our camera. It'll work, but I don't know if it creates a keyframe. So in that respect, it might not work. Oh no, it does work. It does work. It just doesn't work the way you think it should. Or does it? I think it's trying to point at the camera at all times. And that looks awkward, of course. So yeah, it looks like, so we can always make that point at a null and then animate the null if and when we need it. So that's a possibility. And then we can just position that null at the camera and then just move it away if we don't need it anymore. So perhaps we're going to do that, since I can't animate the camera, the point at parameter here. So I suppose if I don't point it at anything, then we're back to normal and there's no keyframe that's been created. Gotcha. Okay. No problem. We can do that. So perhaps I'm going to go and rename my null here. So this is kind of the mouse null. And then we'll create another one. And we'll call that, well, maybe not null 2. We're going to call that eye target null. Ah, thank you so much. Because it also works with the, yeah, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh my goodness. That is a nice. Oh, good find, Gorma. Thank you so much. That's very nice. And so this is, I'll go and show you that in full screen quickly, because that is seriously cool. If we could get something of that caliber into DAZ Studio, that'd be good. Takes a second to load, but woohoo! 60 frames a second, shiny reflections. I can see shadows, I can see shininess, I can see little grains in the wood and all that. Oh, that would be nice. Coming soon to DAZ Studio. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Come on, that would be seriously cool. $60 frames in a web engine with lighting and all that. Come on, if my web browser can do it, DAZ Studio should be able to do it. Is there hope for the old lady yet? So let's go to the first frame of our animation here and just see where we're going to put the eye target, where the null for the eye target. So we're going to put that, I guess, in front of our mouse. somewhere, like way in front of him. Slightly off to the side, make it a good height here. And in fact, let's just go and point my eye target at that. And then we can judge where it needs to be for the eye movement. I'm also going to go and parent it to the mouse here. This is kind of nice that I can now animate this independently. So if it's kind of this far ahead, that's nice. Let me go and switch this back to a single viewport here. I could parent this to the mouse and then it'll stay always exactly away, like that much away from the mouse. But the problem with that is that I want to animate it, so it'll be awkward to have that overlaid with the mouse's movement. So I'm trying to have it be in front of the mouse at all times. So I suppose I'll have to go and put it here. That should work. As if he's hypnotizing something that's in front of him. And then when he walks towards the camera, I can just go and like just about here, I can try and move this thing over here. And make it stay there. Oh, that wasn't a good idea. I should have done it in 2 viewports here. That would have probably been easier. I can always go collapse this. That'll give me the room that I needed. 1 click, that's all I needed. So at this keyframe here, hope I'm on it, because it's difficult to navigate this thing. There's these options that will send you to the next keyframe, and actually they work. That's good. Sometimes I've had difficulties with that in the past, but it looks like if the correct thing is selected, that's obviously, you know, I suppose that's good then. So I need for the null to kind of remain there. And I can only do that with another keyframe before he moves away to over there. So I suppose here is good. So with that last keyframe, I'm just trying to adjust him looking directly at us. And I think maybe the first keyframe, whoops. Yeah, I think this thing's moving towards the camera from the beginning. That's not really what I want. So I would like for this guy to... I like to duplicate that keyframe here, the eye target keyframe, and just move that duplicate. Man. So those things here, copy, and maybe to here. See if it works this time. Yes. No. So why not? It just makes, this is just, why doesn't this work? What's the DAZ logic here? It doesn't make any sense. It's just so unintuitive, clunky, and rancid. I really don't like this whole anything about it, sadly. All I want to do is make sure that this thing doesn't move until here. And that should be possible. And it looks like that's kind of impossible. So it's not that there's no workarounds. It's just that there's no elegant way to do it in 2 clicks. That's what really annoys me. And that's just a terrible user experience. And, you know, not that the menus are bad enough already. This is just not good. So yeah, I can do this, but there's just, why would I do that? If there is a more elegant way of doing it, why would we have it the clunky rubbish way? So then I suppose these 2 keyframes here, they can just move further back a little bit, so that he looks ahead more, and then he spots something over here, and then he turns around. And then he goes and should really look forward again. Yeah, that's not really what I want, is it? That's not at all what I want, is it? Maybe I need to do my iTarget, the whole iTarget thing again from scratch. That's a very good point, Brian. Yes, that's true. And it's something that we still haven't worked out why that would have happened. Copying a keyframe, why does that make anyone lose his head? The null did something similar. It also had an issue with things. So I'll go and delete all the keyframes here. It just moved into a completely different position, which also made no sense. No sense at all. So I suppose to make it a little easier now, I'll go and set the first keyframe, then the last keyframe. Then I'll just set dummy keyframes at which I would like something to happen with the same value it is at that point. And then I'll add the values that I like. That's the ugly workaround, but yeah, that's just what we have, I guess. So from here to there. I might even on that keyframe just move that over here a little bit. That might help that we see more of the eyes. And so then he turns his head over here. So at that moment, I would also like for his eyes to follow. So I might go and put one keyframe here, or actually slightly beforehand. So I put one keyframe there with that. Then I would like his eyes to follow and meet our camera here at this keyframe. So maybe actually even slightly beforehand, maybe here. This is where he sees our camera already. So that's another keyframe. Usually the eyes react a bit faster, don't they? So that's where the eyes meet our camera. They'll stay with our camera until about here. And then they turn around again to here. There. So at least now we have these two keyframes, this one here and that one. And those are the values we're just going to have to adjust, in theory. Let's go save this before I screw this up again. See you later, Gorma. Good of you to drop by. Be safe. Isn't that bizarre, Brian? That's just crazy. Why would they do that? Oh, I know why. Because I don't think DAZ was ever meant to have tools like that. Some third-party hacker made it possible. And 10 years later, DAZ said, hey, that's great. Let's put it in DAZ Studio. Because we don't know how to do it. That guy somehow made it happen. Give him $1,000 for the source code. It's awesome. Because that's what they're like. So let's see. If we go and put that now to the camera, does it even need to move back? And then of course here we're gonna make sure it has the same values here. I'm just gonna have to go and literally look at them and type them in again, because that's how well DAZ works here. So all we're doing is using the X and Y translation. So 131 and 41. So 131 and oh no, this was Z, wasn't it? Okay, that's 9.5 and 9.5. There. That's so difficult. And then there's this Bezier movement still going on. That's also not great. So all these keyframes, they can literally be linear. And then we don't have that problem anymore. So he goes, spots us here, keeps looking at us, keeps looking away. That should look okay, I hope. And then of course we need to make sure the eye target isn't being rendered. So we need to make that invisible in a moment. Thank you. And safe, indeed. Yes, safe, safe, safe. I think we've nailed it, right? I think this is something we can use here. What do you think about the speed? Is it too slow? I mean, considering the other animations are so fast up there, it'd be kind of nice to have something that's a bit slower. Let me actually hide the eye target, because we don't really want to see the eye target. Eye target, hello, eye target, boom. And eye target has a couple of other things in here, there. I think so too, yes. Nice and slow, just because this FBI agent is a bit fast. And there's his female equivalent I'd like to bring in as well. And we'll do that next, once we've rendered this. Yeah, it's kind of nice. We can even be out before his tail disappears. That's cool. I'll do that in Premiere. We'll see how it all fits together. But I like this. I like this look. It's nice. I like it. I'm thinking, should he look at the camera slightly longer, maybe? Because we see a lot of him walking, but not a lot of him looking. I wonder if he can just look at the camera a little bit quicker, like here maybe, and then keep looking, and then just goes out again. That might be nice. That should be a job that DAZ Studio should be able to do. I was thinking exactly that. Yes, Dreamlab, that is something I was thinking about. And I can just do that in Premiere so that I just have other variations that he kind of walks back. Let's see if we can make this happen a bit earlier. I guess it's these things we have to work with first. So perhaps here. $5. I'll bet against you. I'll bet against you, Brian. If you say he loses his head, I'll bet against you because this is my logic. I'm going to try and just move the keyframes. But hey, we're dealing with DAZ Studio. What am I doing betting on DAZ Studio? That's terrible. Let's just see what the timing's like. So if he comes in and he maybe can look about here, that's like 100 odd frames before. So technically, leave these two together, just these, and then move them to about here. Maybe. And the eye target, we'll deal with that in a moment, so that the eyes will look a little bit wonky now. That's okay. It's funny, why did that not actually do what I thought it was going to do? Oh no, it has actually, hasn't it? And then we'll go and turn all of these, almost all of these, slightly further back. And that's that one in the middle that we may also have to shift. I'll save this as a second file so we can go and compare them maybe. So with that done, let's see if we can do the same with the eye target. That wants to be here already, I guess. And on the out, I think we'll make the eye target go out slightly faster so that he's starting to look away before he turns his head. Like so. Maybe that was a bit too much, but in principle, like that. I'm not sure. I can't decide if I like this version better or the other one. I'm not sure. Yes, that makes a big difference, doesn't it? I'm not thrilled about when the head moves that we see the bottom of his snout. So I might correct that. But I like the idea that we see more of his eyes. Yeah, like this motion, this is not something I like that much. Yeah, do you know what? I think I prefer the first version as well. Let me go and save this as a second file. And we'll say rat zombie take 2. And then we'll load in the first version again, so we can compare. There. I suppose what I like about that quick look at the camera instead of the longer look is that essentially he's just sleepwalking, and he just gives us that look just quickly for comic effect rather than him trying to actually look at us. It's true. I do like that as well. And we don't have the snout issue either, so let's use this. Cool. 1 hour and 15 minutes, and we already have a first animation. This is nice. Let's what would you like to do? What do you think? Shall we? And I'm glad neither of us, Brian, lost our money. That's very good, actually. What do you think we should do? Do you want me to render this out and we see what it looks like in the overlay? Or shall we crack on with another animation and I'll render this later? Because it's going to take about 5 or 6 minutes perhaps until for DAZ to do this. I think so too, Dreamlab, yes. What do you think? Render it out or crack on with another animation? Other animation will be in Blender, so it'll be like a slightly different take on everything. But we'll also look at Blender's equivalent to Aniblock, so it'll be exciting. Or we can do both. I don't know. I don't mind. I've got nothing else planned really. Oh, we need to look at lighting, don't we? That is a good point. Let's have a look at the light is still the same as last time, but I haven't previewed it. So perhaps that's a good just have a little look at this. So the plane we decided isn't going to be visible. And the light's technically the same as it was yesterday. So I hope that's not going to be changed. There was, that was something I've noticed. I don't know if it's still prevalent here. Let's see in the parameters under light. I've noticed that the luminous flux had some keyframes on it, and that's, crazy. So they weren't noticeable, and they are not in it here, but I guess it's because I have adjusted the light at a different, not being on frame 0. But other than that, it has the same values, including HDRI. Very good point. Let's hide the eye target instantly before we forget, because I believe it just gets rendered that way. So yeah, let's go and make sure we don't see that anymore. Can I select it? I think I can. Eye target, there we go. Thank you. I appreciate that. There, I think I'll leave the light as it is. Because it is still the same, isn't it? Yeah, from here to there, yeah. I think I may have increased it slightly. I think I can just do that before I save the scene. I think I used 60,000. See, it's going down again. It's doing the thing again, which is crazy because I don't recall where else that other keyframe was. So that's pretty sad. Let's see if we can find it. There's no keyframe on the spotlight here. And it's because this timeline doesn't show you keyframes for luminous flux. So it is there, but of course with the spotlight selected, I don't think it doesn't show it. So hence I don't know where it is. It's terrible, it's absolutely atrocious. But hey, that's just the tools we play with. So I think what I did to figure out where that was is I literally went through here and had a look at when this value doesn't change anymore, which was here. And then just before it does change, I assumed that was where the keyframe is, like here. And at that point, I just made it 60,000 as well. And I think it now goes back up again or down again. No, look at that. So this is where the keyframe must have been, but there's no way for me to delete it because the DAZ timeline doesn't show luminous flux. So you think, that's awesome. See, it does this thing again. So there must be another keyframe here somewhere. The worst. If you can avoid doing animations in DAZ Studio, do it. Don't do it in DAZ Studio. It's almost easier to create another light in the same position. Yeah, look at that. We have general properties, but we have nothing else. And imagine 60,000 too much. Yeah, so that's that other keyframe here. It's a good feature, isn't it? They really have thought about this long and hard. There, I think now it's kind of fixed with additional keyframes. And I hope it's not too hot. I think it'll be just fine. Okay, let me go and save this and then we'll crack on with another animation in Blender. So this is Rat Zombie. I'll just go because there's so much fiddling there. I'd like to have a version to go back to. I'll call this one Zombie Rat or Rat Zombie Take 1. There we go. Thank you, DAZ. Now let's go back to Blender. And so the two animations I was thinking about is a dancing female FBI agent and one of the girls that we see in our animation that was wearing either the red or the green outfit, either one of them. I'll see if I have the file still that I used for rendering this guy here, the dancing FBI agent. I don't remember where I would have put that. I found the rendered files, but I haven't found you'd imagine it's in the Bank Heist project, but I don't think that's where that is. No, I would have put it in blend files. Yeah, that's not it. So it'll be somewhere else. Maybe I'll go have to have a search in Windows Explorer. Let's see if we can make that happen. That's always exciting. Let me see what's on this PC. And I'll search for something like FBI star dot blend. That's really what I'm after. So I'm not allowed to type that in Windows. That's dot blend. I would imagine that's, oh, there we go. FBI dancer. Dancer 1. That could be it. Where was that? Oh, there it is, in Polygon City blend files. May I see this again? There you go. So in Blender files, Polygon City blend files. Okay. Let's see. In here, Polygon City blend files. FBI Dancer 1. Ah. So that might be it. Yes, and that is it. Actually, that's perfect because he has this little underground patch that he's standing on, and it has all the movements that we put in here with keyframes. So that's good to know. I'm glad I found that. Sometimes you just have to do that. So before I get confused again, let me go and save all my animations in a spot here. See, I've already forgotten where were the DAZ animations now? I'm so disorganized. It is hilarious. If I knew where that is, I could just go and save everything in that one folder. Thankfully, DAZ remembers. And Brian, I did not reach out to Reallusion. No, it was, we had this little conversation on Facebook where somebody reached out to me. I forgot his name, but he's kind of is marketing at Reallusion. And he was saying, hey, is this Jay vs. Lewis? And I said, yes, it is. Wow, because we've got this new, that was when Character Creator was released. He was saying we were wondering if you might be able to do some tutorials for us, and of course we'll give you the software for free. And I think it was only the Character Creator software. And I said, do you know what, I have heard of your products, but I don't know much about them, so they would probably be most valuable if I can have a look at them first before I commit to anything. And following that was silence, so he never got back to me on that. So had I probably said, yes, please, I'll do anything you want for a free piece of software, he probably would have given it to me, but he didn't do that. So, and then we never communicated again. But I don't know, there may be other circumstances, so I might actually get back in touch with him just out of interest, really, out of curiosity. So this is in Blender files, stream animations. Oh, okay. And then we have DAZ scenes. Gotcha. Perfect. That's where we're going to put our Blender files. So it was in Blender files, stream animations. That's the spirit. So can I go and put that to my favorites? Yes, stream animations. Perfect. I'll put that at the very top, and I'll make another folder here called blend files, because if I understand it correctly, and do correct me if I'm wrong there, it means that just the Character Creator that's not really enough for a pipeline, right? I need the thing that's actually called a pipeline, right? That's what I need. I think I might do. Yes, I might like it. You're absolutely right. That's what I'm thinking, Christina. I think it would be really valuable if I could have the whole thing and we could have hours of fun with that. That is true. I might leave everything in one in this project actually, and then I'll keep adding to it in different collections here. So I'll go and call this guy renaming a collection. There we go. I'll call him FBI Dancer, and then this can all be in here, and then I can always copy and paste things. That's how we're going to do that. That's going to be good. So this one is going to be the female FBI dancer. or just female FBI is probably fine. Perhaps I'll call him the male FBI dancer. And yes, let's do that. So we'll go and hide everything in here and go and bring in, well, perhaps save the whole thing first and call it Stream Dancers. How about that? Exactly. There was character creator, there was the exchange, and there was iClone, and those are all separate programs, right? And that's what you need. Exactly. That's right. Exactly. iClone plus character creator, but then you, in order to actually bring anything in there, it's 3D exchange. That was it. Yeah. How are they on content? Do you also buy content through them? Do you have a content marketplace? I'll go and import one of my bank heist animations here. So there was cheering, Roomba dancing, and there was also twerk. So I think twerk is a good one, but Roomba was also a good one. So I can see these two, Roomba and twerking. Let's go twerk first. I believe I use manual orientation and automatic bone rotation. And that will bring me a different guy, I think. Not responding is Blender's way of saying I'm working on it. So we'll just give it a moment. Right, I've heard that before, Christina. So thanks for the heads up. There's also the other thing that I got to be really honest with you. The other thing that I'm not sure about a deal like that is that what exactly are the expectations? I mean, they have the expectations that me doing something will sell their products. They probably also have the expectation that I'm heavily plugging their products. And therein lies the issue that when I'm thinking, even though it's free, what happens if I don't like it? Am I still under an obligation to deliver something for them? And, you know, it's with kind of hobbyist artistic projects, there's always the danger that might not work for me. Oh, we still have this camera here. Okay, we need to have a different camera with the same dimensions. Let me just quickly make one. So I'm always very aware of that. I'll just call that camera 2 and I'll switch to it. I always forget how to do that. This is view, right? Set active object as camera, perfect. And that is probably, that's actually not important right now. That is just that, and then we go do that, perfect. Haha. So this is the male guy, and I don't really want him to be in this again. I'd like the female FBI agent to do this dance move, and I'm just going to go and take this guy as an example so I can stash his animation in the NLA editor. Let me see if I can remember how to do that. I think under animation, we have the dope sheet, which is in dope sheet mode. The dope sheet mode goes into the action editor mode. And now I think I'll call this, and that is now all the keyframes down here. There's a lot of them. That's why Blender took a moment. And I would like to use them for later. So I'm going to go and rename this twerk. And then I'll go and stash it. So stashing means I'm creating something of a temporary anti-block. They call it an action stash, I believe here. I believe that's what it is called. And as soon as I do that, the keyframes will disappear, and the guy also isn't dancing anymore, I think. So that's now just kind of stashed away in memory, inclusive of a fake user, which is awesome. So that's why I was also not worried about him not showing up with any textures, because we're not going to be using that on him. I'll go and delete the whole guy. I say, and bring in another one of his animations, namely the Roomba dance animation, also with import FBX. I think that was Roomba, and that is the same. Oh yeah, I've got the presets as well. I totally forgot about the presets. Luckily, I remember what to do. That's cool. Oh, good, excellent. Hello, Joe, as well. Say hello from us collectively, Rod. That's very nice. This animation is a bit shorter here. And it just does this, which is also very cool. So because it loops, and that's also awesome. Let's go and turn that into a stash as well. Roomba, I'll call it, and I'll go and stash this as well. That's all we need from this guy. X and X, and now we'll bring in our actual female FBI model. And I believe that's also tricky, if I remember correctly. She was in the heist pack, I think. Characters, male FBI, female FBI, there we go. I believe I can bring that in with this preset, so that is actually without the animation. And bone orientation, manual orientation, that's cool. Import FBX, and she looks like this. That's of course not good. But I think it's also how it's supposed to look, and don't ask me why. I'll go and rename her to female FBI, just so that I know what that is when I select it. I need to go into, with this selected, I need to go into pose mode and head over to pose clear all transformations. There we go. That's her. Object mode will get us sorted. And now I can put a texture on her. And for that, I need to select the actual character here. In the shading tab, there's a normal map attached, but I don't think I need it. I'll go disconnect it for now without deleting it. And here I'll go and find, hopefully, Polygon Heist texture. That's probably in here, Polygon Heist. Number 1. I believe many of them will work. They have different skin colors. We can try them all out. Oh, we didn't need this to be rendered. We can just go and use that. There we go. I'm just curious to see what the other textures will look like. So let's go and open them. Like 1B. Okay, so slightly darker skin tone here. 1C even darker. And that's it. So we also have texture 2 that might, oh yeah, so she's wearing a different shirt here. That's cool. So 2 is a different shirt. 3 is then an even different shirt. And we also have, do we have 4? Yes, 4 is, oh, look at that. A little bit of a red shirt. That might be nice. That and a slightly darker skin tone. How about that? Maybe like that. Looks a bit Latina now. That's cool. That might be nice. I believe so, yes. The collections are purely cosmetic. So they are, what makes the collections easy to use then is that I can go and hide everything in one collection, but it's still available for me to use in another collection, if that makes sense. So I can still switch to a camera that is hidden, for example. Let's try that out. So right now this is camera 2 here, that's my active camera, and it looks like this. It doesn't have an animation on it. So the camera itself is static, but I can, even though it's now hidden and it's in a different collection, I can go and just bring it back. In fact, with this camera, I can go and view cameras, set active object as camera, and I can now go hide everything again. But since I'm still looking through it, is that correct? Oh no, I'm not. Why am I not looking through it? Crazy stuff. Are we learning something new here? View camera, set active object as selected, and this camera is moving, isn't it? Yeah, it is moving, at least in the latter half of it. So if I now go and hide the whole collection, I'm still looking through the camera, and I can see by the floor that it's still doing its movements. So if I go and bring the female FBI dancer back, we still have all the same camera cuts. So yeah, I can use it as a regular object with other objects from another collection. So I think it's just an organizational aid, really. But in that respect, it's easier to use than the layers. I think I never really warmed up to layers. I liked the idea, but it wasn't really, I didn't really like it. So now on the second camera, and that doesn't move. All right, let's bring an animation to our girl here. So she's number 1. She's the female FBI dancer. I'll select her and I'll go back into the animation thing here. And this is going to be quite mind-blowing, I think. Because we need to switch from the actual dope sheet thing to the non-linear animation. And in here, I would imagine, should I not see something? Oh yes, I should. I'm going to go to open this now. Oh, I'm in pose mode. That's why I should be in object mode. That should that not display my stashed action blocks here? Is that not how it works in non-linear animation? Could have sworn that's what happened last time. Maybe that's not quite the case anymore. So these are still there. Oh yeah, that's right. I need to pick one now. So that's right. So in the dope sheet then, right. In the dope sheet, in the action editor, I need to pick my block. So Roomba or twerk. I'm thinking twerk. And now this is brought back from the stash. I think that's the analogy I'm looking for. And now I can push this down. And now it goes away. Now it has created a block on the timeline, I believe. Non-linear animation. Yes, here it is. And that now does this. And when the character is selected, it just goes a little bit slower. I guess it's also because it's rendering 2 viewports here. That could be. But it is doing this in 60 frames a second, so that works out fine. We'll go and set up the camera in a moment. And I think I don't want to loop it more than once, since it's kind of a longish animation. I think 1 loop is enough. Because I can do the rest in in Premiere, and it is seamless as well. So if I wanted to loop it, the options are down here in the action strip, I believe, and in the action clip, actually, sorry, not in the strip, in the clip. I could set the amount of repetitions here. So if I make it 2, then this is now twice the length, and it'll repeat. It might actually be that this is slow because should I use frame dropping? No, it could also be, I think it's something else. I think it's because my own animation is still set to 30 frames. So if I set that to 60, was that faster? Yeah, there we go. Now we're in the correct speed here. Whew! I've run out of coffee. Let me go, while she's dancing on the screen, I'm gonna go and grab another coffee. I'll be right back. I'm back. I hope not. Am I still on air? I hope it's all good with Twitch. I mean, she's just, she's just twerking along. I hope that's okay. I could have extended the animation beyond the default here, I guess. So it's popping at this point because the animation should really be going until here, and then it would be a seamless loop. So I guess up until something like here, 1825 maybe. If I set that to 1825, then I hope there's no more popping. There we go, now it's seamless. Yes, Steve, that is one fear that I have. I have no idea how they're going to deal with materials unless there's some really clever way in which they know exactly which exact eye-ray property is what exact property in filament, that they do it kind of automatically. I don't really know how they're going to do that, but yeah, that'll be interesting to see how they're going to deal with materials. Good point. Rod, really all I'm looking for is one option in DAZ Studio that just by default looks okay and real time. That's really all I'm looking for. I don't want to fiddle with things longer than I absolutely have to in DAZ Studio. So we have made her dance twice now. I don't know, maybe I will leave it like that. What do you think? Is that too long? I mean, in regards to, we can probably tell exactly. It's 912 times 2, that's 1824 it should be. So 1824 is probably the correct out here. 1824 frames divided by 60, that is 30 seconds. Is that too long a twerk? What do you think? That she's twerking is 15 seconds fine? Maybe 15 seconds is enough. How long does FBI do dance? $15 sounds about right. Let's do that. I'm completely with you. Let's do that. One repeat, and then the end frame is going to be 912. And then we have that. Just checking if it loops properly. It does indeed. Okay, good stuff. Well, let's set this up. I think for her, I'm not sure if I'm going to go and cut into her clothes or if I'm just going to go let her twerk in the spot. I'm kind of happy for it to just twerk in the same place there. Just go move in a bit closer camera wise. Just making sure we don't cut off her head or anything, or her feet. I'm even okay with the whole camera position as it is right now. So she's essentially dancing on my head then. That's what we want. Slightly from an angle, I think. Not quite from here. I think maybe just slightly from an angle might be cool. When too much twerk is not enough. Sorted. Let's go and borrow a light and I'm still not entirely convinced that we need a floor. I might just leave the floor out of it completely and just go and turn another turn this whole collection and make another collection. And I always like to have one that's called kind of techie bits. And in that I'll put like the plane and the light. Those things. So move that to the collection 3 here, light also collection 3, because that's kind of set up. So we can call that techie bits. And then we can hide him. And then if we look at this rendered, we should see that. And then if I don't want to see the ground anymore, I just go, and it's kind of a semi-transparent ground, so I can then go and just disable that both in the render and in the animation. It's GPU renders 256. Let's have a look what that looks like with the in the final render and how long it takes. Not even a second. That's nice. I'll switch the ground on just so that we can get a bit of a gauge of the whole scene. And I'd also like to see, not quite that. I'd also like to see where the light is actually coming from. Oh, that was a strip light. Strip light from an angle. So it's almost like it's a similar thing that we did with the rat. So I'm not entirely happy with the position. I think I'm going to go and move it over here and then go and rotate that. It's funny, Dreamlab, you picked up on this as well. The moment you press a modifier key to check which axis is it that I need to tweak, that's when this thing goes away. So sad. So in Blender, of course, the up axis is Z, so I need to press G, Z, and then I can R, Z, and then I can go and kind of do something like this. Like that, G, Shift, Z, and move that over here. I'm thinking. So that she has a bit of shadow on her rather than a completely flat light. Kimimaru, all right. I don't think I've ever watched much of Naruto. I know him, I know of him, but I don't think I've watched much of him. I think we could probably either move the light closer or make it a bit brighter. Yeah, it is a bit far away, so I can go and move it just a bit closer. Oh, and further up, sorry, I didn't know I was going to be that low. I didn't know. Also not entirely sure what's going on with the transparent background there. I suppose it's because I've said it. That's that's the reason for it. But we need it transparent, so that's cool. So G, Z, make that like that. Yeah, okay, maybe I'll just make the light a bit hotter. Oh. That should work. Or is that too hot now? This is difficult to say. I think 2500. That's cool. And if we were to render that out, that'd be nice. Now, what are your thoughts on the ground? Do you think I should leave the ground, or shall I take it out for the final animation? I'm still undecided, and we can think about it. That's all cool. I'll just go and crack on with the second animation, and then we can go and tweak it also to about 15 seconds. That sounds about like a good segment for an animation. I'll go and save this, of course. Very important. Go back to this and literally hide this collection and go create a new collection, which we're going to call maybe just red dress girl. Perfect. Yeah, but the FBI agent, I'm happy to render him again without the ground. So I'm not entirely sure if I like the ground or not. I'm not sure if the ground's a good idea or if it's okay to have him dance just in thin air. I'm just, it's just, I'm not entirely sure. I've looked at both versions. And I've redecided to have the ground version only because then there are shadows that you see. Without the shadows, it still looked okay. But now that the more I'm seeing it, I'm thinking sometimes the ground kind of gets in the way. So I might just do the same here. I might just render a version without ground and we can run that. And then I can use a version with the ground, and then on other days we can run that. And you can see the difference and let me know what you prefer. Because I'm really honest, I'm not sure what I prefer. Let's go and import our girl in the red dress. Was she in here? Female overall suit vest, duffel. I don't remember if she was actually in here or if she was in Polygon City. But there's a few others, so we can try the female with the suit and vest. Let's try her just to see what she actually looks like. That's awkward, isn't it? Pose, clear all transforms. Oh, right, yes, so she has no face. No back face. So I remember that is an issue with the heist characters because they're all wearing face masks, and that's why there's no polygons on the back of the face. So let's not use her then. Let's use the women from the Polygon City. I remember there was something. I like it. I like the input. So not in here then. It's in Polygon City, characters. Male jacket, business suit, female coat, female jacket, female police. Was she not in here then? Female coat and female jacket. Those are different people though. I'm sure she must have been in the heist set then. I suppose it's efficient. It's a feature because there are. I suppose the scene was set up in a way that you only ever see the face of the character, and then they wear some kind of a mask either over the face so that you just see the eyes through it, like a paper bag or Donald Trump mask or something. So they look like that. They look very stylized and oversized because they're all the bank robbers. But I think the back of the head would have interfered with the mask, so they they're supposed to wear these ugly masks so that they're committing a bank robbery. But I found that if I put them on, the mask isn't parented to the correct part, so that moves out of sync and it looks ugly. So I really need just one object. And yes, so that's the issue. Otherwise, I would have used them with a mask. Maybe female suit vest. Was that the one we just tried? Female shirt. Let's try female shirt. See what that looks like. Why I have to do this, I don't really know. See, she's got the same issue. If only I remembered what the characters were. Female suit vest duffel, and overall is female. Well, that's female FBI. So she was with the shirt, suit vest. That is. Same thing. What other sets was I using then? I'm so sorry, Steve. I'm so sorry. Yes, I didn't mean to do that. Imagine I hadn't mentioned his name. Do you remember where she was from? Let's look at the website. Maybe that'll give us a clue. Synty store, because I don't have that many packs. New set out, Polygon Fantasy Kingdom, by the way. 279 bucks, but it's a huge set. It's not the Office set. Apocalypse Sci-Fi City pack. Let's have a look at the City pack. It could be that. And then of course there's the Heist pack. Let's see where this character is in. So in the Heist pack, these are the characters. I don't think she's in here. So then in here, she's not here either. No, there she is. That's her, isn't it? In a different outfit. So she is from the Polygon City scene. Right. Oh yes. Yeah, did you see that? I mean, because we're upsetting Steve here now. This, I think, is what we're all talking about. This is the mask, and this is how these masks work, I guess. So you can see the eyes through the mask and the mouth, but the rest is just like a large thing. Hilarious. Yeah, absolutely. When this comes back or something similar, I will let you know. It was the best bargain for 3D assets that I've made in a long time. 25 bucks, I think it was. And my God, Brian, how many sets do we have now? It's crazy. There's just so much good stuff in there. But even like the single sets are not actually that expensive. So like this one is only $20, the whole bank set, and it comes with a ton of stuff. So there's the whole set of the animation that we've built is in there, and it comes with vehicles as well. Also very exciting. This is one, this is another one, this is another one, and these are just textures, so different types of things that come with it. Super lovely style. I really like that. Really appreciate the style. Yeah, another mask, I guess. So let's see. She is in Polygon City. It's a character, probably the businesswoman then. And it's just you've remembered, right? Yes, because Blender's nice. Blender remembers. Blender's nice. Pose, clear, transform. There she is. Woo! Awesome. Let's give her some some clothing here. So this is in case you ever come across this, that you're on the shading tab and you don't actually see anything and you're already in object mode. So one thing is you might be in world mode, and so that's not where you want to be. You want to be in object mode. But even if you select this character and there's an orange outline on it and there's nothing showing, it's because these types of characters, they are made of the armature as well as the geometry, and I think you have to click the geometry for there to be any materials available down here, he says. Also, you got to be in object mode, very important, and then you can see the whole shader for this thing. So this comes in. I don't really need to have that on there, I don't think. And this is now Polygon City Texture 1C. So Polygon City Textures. So we have 3C. Let's try that. See what that looks like. So this is her with a red dress and blonde hair. But I actually like her as a brunette, so let's see if we can make that happen. City texture, let's try 4A. That's the green with this green brunette. 4B is then, okay, so that's a different skin tone. So let's try 2, that's blue and red hair, also cool. And then 3A is that. I think this is what I want. That with the slightly darker skin tone. Even darker perhaps. So 3C. Nah. 3B was what we wanted. There. I think that's cool. Or maybe does she look better in as a Caucasian female? I can't tell. Maybe she looks better as a Caucasian female. Yes, you didn't get it either. Oh my God, yeah, you didn't get, you wanted to. That was so sad when that bundle had already ended. I saw the music bundle. I don't know much about it. What can you do with it? Is it to create your own kind of loops and sounds? Is that how it works? Because I saw that and I thought, that's kind of exciting. But I also didn't get it and I thought, when am I going to use that? So I thought, forget it, man. Let's put an animation on her. Red dress. Oh, girl. We're going to call her girl as well. Oh, just red dress is probably fine. Animation. All right, so I'm missing a MIDI keyboard then in my collection. Let's go back to the dope sheet and make sure she is in object mode and she's selected. And pick, this was Roomba now, wasn't it? We had the twerk, now we're gonna do Roomba dancing. That's that. Oh yeah, also frame rate needs to be 60. And that we're gonna go push down, and that's all we need. No, that's, yeah, exactly, that's all we need to do here. Now we go into non-linear animation, and here we have Roomba. We already said that to about here is how long that animation needs to be, so we can go and repeat this, let's say 1 2 3 4 5 times, 7 times, then six is probably what I'm looking for. There we go. Good stuff from here to there. Okay, that's the animation taken care of, and also how quickly that was taken care of. Now we can see if the camera still works, because she's in the same position. I might set up a different camera on her. I might just go slightly from the top here. I'm hoping that that was in this collection, wasn't it? So camera 2, I'll go and Shift D and click. And this camera 2 we're going to call camera 3. And that camera we're going to go and move into the Red Dress Girl collection. There we go. With that camera selected, on View, Camera Set Active Object. That's perfect. So then, without wanting to go into any keyframe bits and bobs, let's go and make that happen from kind of from here maybe. Also, oh, I think did I do that on the other camera? Camera focal length. I think I'll use a different focal length. Just because I can, that might look better, that might not look good, I'm not sure yet. It's mesmerizing, isn't it? I just want to make sure she's not going out of frame. And of course, we need a different animation duration on this. So that's now 143 times 6. I could use Blender to do the maths. That's 858. Totally forgot about that. I can do that. So this is, the previous one was 912. I'll just make a quick note of that here for me. FBI Girl was 912, and then Office Girl is, what did we just say? Totally forgot it already. What a shame. 6 times 143. 6 times 143. 858. There we go. Good stuff. Or 858 rather. There we go. There. Good. Do you know, it was Rebel and Amberlight. Those are really, really funky. Those make amazing animations. Amberlight takes a little bit of time to render. Oops. Oh. So 858, there we go. Okay. That's the third animation. So literally we've done 2 animations in Blender, albeit slightly simpler, but the way that worked in Blender was just so much easier to do it than doing 1 animation in DAZ Studio. I find I'm more comfortable doing animations in Blender than I am in DAZ Studio, just because the tools are just slicker and better and more supportive. Hidden keyframes, I mean, what? That's just crazy stuff. It is so much easier, isn't it? And yeah, there's a lot of knowledge about, NLA editor, action strip, this and the other. Yeah, that's all. I agree. That's not easy and casual to pick up, but it is, once you know it, the tools are super solid, I must say. Yes, me too, Christina. Rebel was one of those when I was doodling around on my iPad, or when I know actually on the Surface Pro, I was considering buying that. In the end, I decided to buy Art Rage instead because it was a bit cheaper, and Rebel was more expensive. I was thinking it was twice as much, and yeah, now I'm super glad I have it. I've played around with it, and it's just super fun. I must say, there's just so much that you can do with it, and the effects are just nice. The effects are really nice. I have a feeling we're a little bit too long here, so 853 is probably 853 is probably better. Otherwise, there's a hiccup at the end here. So we've been doing this for 2.5 hours nearly, and it was nice. It was really nice. I'm gonna say goodbye for today. I think I'll go and render these things out, unless we want to do that together quickly. I don't know. It takes 1 second, less than 1 second per frame to render. Let's check the light. Actually, let's check the light before we say goodbye. Oh my goodness, it's breakfast for you. Yes, that's right. I wonder, Brian, that's a good point. Yes, I wonder how that works. I believe the woman who did the voice for the original Siri said that when she gave the voice samples, she wasn't sure what the project was going to be used for, and so they told her it had something to do with computerized speech, this and the other, and hence they gave her all these weird phrases, but she didn't know it was going to be for Apple nor for the Siri project until that thing actually came out. That must be kind of bizarre. Yeah, so I'm going to go and render these things out, and I'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time for a good round of Stardew Valley. I'm getting so addicted to that game. It's really nice. It's almost like Subnautica, but much more harmless, and it's just such a cute game. You can really lose yourself in that. It's on sale again on GOG for $11.99 right now, which is great. So it was off sale for about 3 days, and now it's on sale again, $11.99. It's very nice, very nice. I've after the stream this morning, I've played a little bit more, and I've managed to create a wooden crate to store some stuff, so that's exciting. I've planted some beans. That's nice. They should last me. They should give me something through the dire winter months. So very exciting. Looking forward to doing more. 10 a.m. tomorrow. And then, of course, tomorrow afternoon, 5 p.m., I'll be back with more 3D shenanigans. My friends, thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful night, and hope I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.